Who's winning the electric car race and market in Venezuela? Today we discuss.
Welcome to Venezuela Insider, the only place in Venezuela for expats, digital nomads, entrepreneurs, investors, travelers, and related internationals. For more information, venezuelainsider.com.
Right now, worldwide, we have this debate regarding electric cars. Electric cars are gaining substantial market share worldwide compared to the traditional combustion engine cars worldwide. And we have seen kind of this particular arms race within each manufacturers. First, you have to talk about the traditional manufacturers that they are creating their EV versions, contrasted with their traditional product. Of course, we have big players like Tesla, that basically is the flagship for this particular EV revolution worldwide. But also we have another substantial players like BYD from China. Also we have Rivian, and also we have a handful of other EV manufacturers worldwide, and they are competing in order to gain market share worldwide. Before we discuss which of these particular manufacturers worldwide is gonna win the EV race in Venezuela, first let's discuss if that's a thing on the first place. But we are also gonna catch up with the traditional auto market within the country that has been bringing up some interesting information within the country. First, let's discuss the state of affairs regarding the auto market in Venezuela, that it was basically dead, almost dead on intensive care unit, but right now is making a surge on the past year and a half, and something very interesting because most Venezuelans have already just let that particular thing go and just accustomed to a life without brand new cars. But this particular dichotomy changed just on the past year and a half. The Venezuelan auto market has been pretty much dead since 2014, 2015. Now, the reasons are complex. First, before the Chavismo, the Hugo Chavez administration arrived on 99, what happened is that the governments previous to Hugo Chavez, the period that is known as the Fourth Republic, well, what they did, they were very protectionist against Venezuelan companies or international companies that already had presence within the country. Regarding automakers, what happened is that in Venezuela, actually, we had big sample lines from the different Western international companies that manufacture cars. So they not only manufacture cars for the Venezuelan market, but also exported to other parts in Latin America. But the issue was that in order to import a car to Venezuela was and still is very, very expensive. The import costs of nationalizing an imported car are very, very, very high, are around 50% of the value on such car. So in order to do all of the process of importing a car is very, very expensive. So if you do it for commercial reasons, the margins are gonna be terrible, and the costs and the expenses in order to put that particular car on the market is gonna be very, very expensive on the final price. Now, when we had the Chavez administration, that was terrible for private companies, and one of those handful of companies were the auto manufacturers, is that since 2003 and 2007, issues with the exchange currency rate, one of the biggest issues regarding the Venezuelan economy created by Hugo Chavez. So what happened is that affected a lot the manufacturers of the auto manufacturers here in the country, but at the same time, they got greedy because they saw opportunities of reducing the total production of new cars in the country, but increasing margins. So this is a thing that, of course, the Venezuelan government back then created terrible policies, especially monetary policies, and especially regarding the currency exchange, that is for another day. But at the same time, the private players had the incentives in order to create lackluster commercial policies in order to reduce their particular production in the units sold, but increase heavily the margins on such commerce. So between 2012 and 2014, the auto manufacturers in Venezuela just basically stopped manufacturing cars within the country, and you just have to go fast forward until 2021, 2022, and the Venezuela auto park is very, very, very old. The average car in Venezuela is over 20 years old. So most Venezuelans are driving very used cars. And the possibility of renovating for a brand new car or a more recent model is, the chances are slim to none for 80-90% of Venezuelans. Other thing that you have to talk about is the financing. Getting financing for a new car in Venezuela, the chances yet again are slim to none until last year. And since early 2023 is when we saw a paradigm shift on the auto manufacturers and sellers within the country. Since 2023, we have seen a handful of both Western manufacturers importing or pre-assembling cars within the country, and also we have some Chinese manufacturers that are either importing the cars or straight up assembling the cars within the country. So they have different strategies, both importing and assembling within Venezuela, but both strategies can be profitable in the country. And actually, the supply of brand new cars in Venezuela has grown exponentially on the past year and a half, something that was impossible and unthinkable for the average Venezuelan just a couple years ago. This is something that is pleasantly surprising for the Venezuelan economy, and not only that, that gives a bullish sentiment for the rest of the economy, since the auto market, the auto industry in Venezuela was completely dead. It was already on forensics rather than economics, but at the same time, right now it has a heartbeat, and actually is growing. This particular industry is growing exponentially in 2024. However, still lackluster compared to the necessity for the market here in the country. It's estimated that before the crisis, on the good years of Venezuela, you saw sales of around 200,000 units per year, and right now we have like 10% on that particular regard, and more than half are just used cars that get swapped a lot and sold on underground markets. And even we have a bunch of content creators talking about that particular industry here in the country, especially on TikTok, places like that. Anyways, but since 2024, now having a new car is a real possibility for Venezuelan, let's say, middle class and up. Right now, not only you have options like, let's say, over 10 different manufacturers, both from the West and from China, but also you already have financial options that were non-existent just a few years ago. And right now you have a real possibility on financing a new car for the family. Now let's talk about the EV industry in Venezuela. It's that a thing? Well, I would say right now it's on diapers, it's a newborn on the Venezuelan market. Of course, this is something relatively new, let's say the past 5 years, 7 years, on Western nations and Europe. I'm seeing right now even EV cars in Colombia, by the way. And which company will overtake the particular EV market within Venezuela? And I will say, well, I'm going to use just from reference, I'm going to use BYD, that they are doing a heck of a job, by the way, so I have to give a shout out to BYD, and a company that I like a lot, that is Tesla, that of course they are pioneers on this particular EV market. Which kind of car will win this particular EV race in Venezuela? A cheap, reliable BYD or a luxurious upscale car like Tesla? Which one will win on the Venezuelan market? And I will say both have a great chance. First, let's discuss BYD. What are the traits of this particular company that is, I have to say, a very good company? Right now they are investing a lot on marketing worldwide, and also they have a great product, a very nice electrical vehicle that at the same time is very reasonably priced and gives you a very good ROI on your particular expense. You can see EVs from BYD starting around $20,000 per year. That will be an excellent price in Venezuela for a brand new car, and actually will be very, very competitive. And also these particular cars, BYDs, have a very nice design, also look very modern, very, vanguard, futuristic, that kind of thing. Also, they're beautiful inside, those particular cars. And those will be a great option for the Venezuelan market when they adapt the Venezuelan nuances, and also if they are able to adapt the cost structure regarding Venezuela and put it on the market on a reasonable price. Also, they will have BYD, if they invest in Venezuela, they will have greater margins compared to other parts in Latin America, and greater margins compared to both the US and the European Union. Now, here's the issue regarding BYD in Venezuela. Now, of course, BYD is a Chinese manufacturer. And the issue, of course, that you have the particular cliches of things built in China that usually are cheaper but less reliable. But I know that China has improved a lot on that kind of thing, but still, the perception, the narrative is lying compared to the reality. And BYD, that will be very difficult in order to escape that particular narrative within Venezuela. Of course, since the Venezuelan economy has been, quote unquote, closed from 2014, 2018, something like that, the Chinese products actually were the most abundant on the Venezuelan commerce, and Venezuelans have, get used to buying Chinese products rather than American or European or from other parts in the world, especially other parts in Asia. That's another discussion. The main point is, the biggest challenge for BYD is create status surrounding that particular brand of BYD. And that's the opportunity for Tesla. Tesla already has that particular brand name, brand recognition, status around the EV cars. And that's why Tesla can become a big player on the Venezuelan EV market and the Venezuela auto market overall. If you see Tesla, of course, Tesla right now has some lower end, more affordable models, but usually Tesla cars are more expensive compared to the rest of the EVs on the market. But at the same time, they give you more status regarding, of course, brand recognition, and also, the typical social things. I explained many times that in Venezuela it is very important status. The Venezuelan consumer, that is very particular, is very aspirational. So Tesla, if they implement a great strategy in Venezuela adapted with the Venezuelan nuances, they can overtake not only the EV market, but also the whole auto car market within Venezuela, if, of course, accommodating the particular Venezuelan nuances. But those cars, since the market, since all of the frictions in Venezuela is accustomed to see a very high price new cars, accommodating Tesla prices in Venezuela is not going to be as difficult. And also, you have the added value that the Tesla cars, of course, the EV cars, don't rely on gasoline and rather electricity. In Venezuela, actually, well, you can do both. Actually, have the gas and the EV, but it will be a great trade that having, instead of just having, let's say, a family, high middle class family, having 2-3 cars on the garage, having one of those being an EV that also is aspirational, having a Tesla, but also, of course, that can work with the BYD as well. That create a significant opportunity on the Venezuelan market when adapted with the Venezuelan nuances.
Thank you for watching Venezuela Insider. Please like, share, and subscribe. Follow us on social media. If you want to work with us, VenezuelaInsider.com. Thanks again, and have a nice day.